Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Naranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopiyana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopiyana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Ira Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sri Gauranitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Ballabha ki jai, Sri Sri Jana Bali Subhadra ki jai, Ramtara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jajan udirajet Nasta prayesu vadresu nityam bhagavata sevaja Bhagavati utamai sloke bhaktir bhavaiti naistikim Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, see, we continue with the studying, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam as part of our sadhana bhakti, and by Prabhupada's ingenious way to engage us in devotional service as part of the 9 process of devotional service, reading or hearing about Krishna, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, hearing about his Krishna's pastimes, devotees' pastimes, is sravana, so the best and effective way to purify our heart. So today is we are reading text 27, and this is chapter 5th. Canto 9. So we are about to finish this chapter. If you can repeat after me, please. Iti etat. Is that the verse? Okay. Iti etat punyan agyanam. Ambarishasya bhupase Sankirtayan anudyayam Bhakto bhagavato vavet Iti etat punyan agyanam Ambarishasya bhupate Sankirtayam anudyayam Bhakto bhagavato vavet Iti etat punyan agyanam Ambarishasya bhupate Sankirtayan anudyayam Bhakto Bhagavato Bhavet. Anyone would you like to repeat? Sankirtanam Abhadhyayam Bhakto Any ladies? Ambarish Bhupate Sankirtayan Alukyayam Bhakto Bhagavato Bhavet Iti etat punyana jnanam Ambarish Bhupate Sankirtayan Anudyayam Bhakta Bhagavate Bhave Iti Das Etat Dis Punyam Akyanam most pious activity in history Ambarishasya of Maharaj Ambarish Bhupate, O King, Maharaj Parikshit, Sankirtayam, by chanting, repeating, Anudyayam, or by meditating upon Bhakta, a devotee, Bhagavata, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhavet, one can become. Translation. Anyone who chants this narration or even thinks of this narration about the activities of Maharaj Ambarish certainly become a pure devotee of the Lord. Should I repeat this? Because all of you are hearing, even thinking also. No? So we have been doing this for, I don't know, more than a month. So it means this is a blessing. Anyone who chants this narration or even thinks of this narration about the activities of Maharaj Ambarish certainly become a pure devotee of the Lord. So I can see all of you potential, well, you will be pure devotee of the Lord, pure devotees of the Lord. So that is like really very inspiring and motivating as well. So purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur herein gives a very good example. When one is very eager for more and more money, he is not satisfied even when he is a millionaire or a multimillionaire. He wants to earn more and more money by any means. The same mentality is present in a devotee. The devotee is never satisfied, thinking, this is the limit of my devotional service. The more he engages in service of the Lord, the more service he wants to give. This is the position of a devotee. Maharaj Ambarish in his family life was certainly a pure devotee, complete in every respect, because his mind and all his senses were engaged in devotional service. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayor vajansi vaikunta gunanuvarnane. Maharaj Ambarish was self-satisfied because of all his senses were engaged in devotional service. Sarvapadi vinimuktan tadparattvena nirmalan rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir ukchate. Nonetheless, although Maharaj Ambarish was engaged all his senses in devotional service, he left his home and went to the forest to concentrate his mind fully at the lotus feet of the Lord, of Krishna. Exactly as a mercantile man, even though completely in wealth, tried to earn more and more. His mentality of getting more and more engaged in devotional service put one in the most exalted position. Whereas on the karmic platform, the mercantile man who wants more and more money becomes increasingly bound and entangled. The devotee becomes increasingly liberated. So, because the next verse doesn't have purpose, so we will continue, and it's the end of this chapter. Text 28. Ambarisasya charitam jet srimbanti mahatmana muktim prajanti te sarve bhaktya vishnu prasadata. Translation. By the grace of the Lord, those who hear about the activities of Maharaj Ambarish, the great devotee, certainly become liberated or become devotee without delay. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 9th canto, 5th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled Durvasa Muni's Life Spare. Onanganati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ulumitan Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukhaṁ karoti vachalam fangung langajate girin jat kripata mahavande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunjavadi Paschatya Deshatarinam. Vanchakalpataruyascha kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so this is quite interesting verse for all of us, in the sense that it's giving us impetus, motivation, and also hope that if we keep hearing or studying, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, because it's, as we know, it's not an ordinary book, it's Krishna himself. And the topic especially is about Krishna and his devotees. This Falestuti, it's very important. So, as we mentioned before, it said that those who are talking and thinking about the pastimes of Ambarish Maharaj, by the grace of the Lord, this is the last verse, it said, by the grace of the Lord, they become also liberated without delay. So, personally, I hear, wow, this is really causeless mercy, because if we analyze, introspect a little bit more about the condition, or about our conditioning, how much challenges and obstacles we face with our own conditioning, our mind, our senses. Personally, I find that lack of purity in my heart, or lack of control of the senses, as a lot of things that doesn't match with the quality of a pure devotee, and doesn't think that, at least in my case, doesn't think that I will be qualified at that level of pure devotee by my own endeavor. And but here is the hope. Here is telling us, Krishna himself is arranging, orchestrating many things for us to become qualified. Again, not because of our own merit, it's because Krishna's grace and devotees. Because by hearing about Krishna's pastimes and also devotees' pastimes, we have 4 blessings. Here I wrote down a verse that is also part of Bhagavatam that give us more light about the importance of hearing about devotees' pastimes and, of course, Krishna's pastimes. Krishna himself. This verse was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. It's 1:17. Srimbata Sokata Krishna Punjan Sravana Kirtana Indri Antahi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhri Satam. So by hearing about Krishna's pastimes, all those abhadranis, all those no special things in our heart will be removed. And then we will be able to be placed in devotional service. Our consciousness would be qualified to be engaged in pure devotional service. So how this process takes place? By hearing what is happening in us. They said there are 4 points, 4 things that it's how Krishna arranged this process of purification, or this process of qualifying us to become a devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. So by hearing Krishna's pastime, it said that first, the purification of our heart take place. As the verse says, that those abhadranis, those impurities in our heart is removed. Our heart become a sitting place for Krishna to sit on nicely. Actually, he is already there. How uncomfortable he must be, probably in my case. So, but by hearing constantly, so those impurities in our heart will be cleansed. So Krishna will have a very soft, cushioned place to sit on, happy. So, and he is arranging that. That is the extraordinary things. He's arranging his place. So how he's arranging, organizing things for all of us to be engaged in those activities that will purify our heart. And And he does arrange those things through, for example, his devotees. I don't think that we will be ever capable to glorify enough how much Prabhupada contributes in our life, how much he is doing for us. Initially, I wasn't able to appreciate much, but somehow or another, due to be in association and devotees, we can get some glimpse of that. And how ingeniously, for example, our Srila Prabhupada organized our sadhana bhakti, our programs in ISKCON temples. They somehow or another make sure that all of us, by attending or coming to ISKCON in association of devotees, we will be engaged in devotional service, what to say, Krishna, hearing Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Katha. Because even when devotees say Hare Krishna, it's Krishna Katha. Or you see a devotee, the tilak there, oh, that is the Hare Krishnas. Even the neighbors, sometimes they are so much annoyed with us or whatever it is. I was listening some complaints, and they, oh, those Hare Krishnas, those Hare Krishnas. They say many Hare Krishnas many times in their complaints. So even that is how Krishna arranged ways through his devotees and devotees for all of us to take the opportunity to receive the benefit of his grace by hearing about Krishna and his devotees. The second thing that it's, for example, is said that because our heart is getting purified, the next consequence of that is that we get attraction, we get attracted to Krishna. Because that is our natural position. It's actually what we are. It's what gives us life as spiritual souls. So when those abhadranis, those impurities are removed from our heart, so our natural constitution will be manifested, and naturally we are attracted to Krishna. So that is, and of course, so the real happiness, the real occupation, the real loving exchanges will take place. So peace and satisfaction in the heart would be part of our natural and normal experience. And by, for example, cleansing our heart of abhadranis, of impurities, and feeling attraction for Krishna, the third quality or the third consequence takes place. That is, that we become decorated with devotional qualities. So we become qualified. So this process is not just removing impurities, it's also giving us good qualities. And as we hear the 26 qualities of a pure devotee, of devotees, those qualities will be naturally manifested on us. We will experience that. Can you imagine when more devotees are practicing this process, how much qualified they are? So the quality of their interactions, it will be a source of inspiration for all of us every single day. And the fourth quality of this process of purification is that Krishna himself is protecting us, his devotee who is very much interested in hearing about him. So as we mentioned, Krishna is the one who is orchestrating everything through his pure devotees as well. So if we have the desire to hear about Krishna and we try our best to be engaged in that service, Krishna will make all the arrangements for us to be engaged in that activity, and of course, getting all the blessings. Like now, in this verse, we hear today that by just hearing what the most of you are doing, hearing about Ambarish Maharaj pastimes, even thinking about it, we get the blessings to become like him, pure devotee. And not just that, is Krishna says in the last verse, without delay. So that is quite encouraging. So Krishna, thank you. Another point that I thought it would be nice to mention is that what is the contribution, or what actually is the main point of the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj? What actually we learn, because we already finished this part, it's like 4 chapters kind of about Ambarish Maharaj, and we heard about his activity, how much dedicated he was in devotional service, the 9 different processes of devotional service, he was fully engaged on that. All his life, all his activities were based on those limbs of devotional service. And also what challenge he faced. We can say that Ambarish Maharaj is definitely pure devotee in the mood of Dasya, and he was experiencing, he's the example of Atma-nivedana in the mood of Dasya, like Bali Maharaj in one way. But I was wondering, what would be the difference between Bali Maharaj that we studied in the previous canto, that he also is a representative of Atma-nivedana, and now Ambarish Maharaj, also the pure devotee, that is an example of Atma-nivedana. Do you have any idea what would be the difference, or what actually it would be the teachings of Bali Maharaj compared to Ambarish Maharaj? Why these 2 examples are here in Bhagavatam for us to learn? How we can discriminate their teachings? Bali Maharaj as, again, surrendered, fully surrendered to Krishna in Atma-nivedana, and Ambarish Maharaj also fully surrendered to Krishna, Atma-nivedana. What is the difference between 2 of them? Any lights? No? No idea. Do you remember who is Bali Maharaj, by the way? Yeah? So how he became surrendered, how he surrendered to Krishna. He was very happy to surrender, or he was forced to surrender? Yeah, he was forced to surrender, yeah? So that is a subtle difference. The circumstance made him to surrender. But in the case of Ambarish Maharaj, he was forced to surrender? No, he was naturally all the time engaged, surrender. All his activities, his belongings, everything, whatever he possessed, he was already engaging in devotional service. So one is that he was, in the case of Bali Maharaj, he achieved the surrendered position by the grace of the Lord, that Krishna arranged the circumstance for him to understand definitely there is nothing else that I can take shelter of, only Krishna by surrender myself, understanding his identity. So Ambarish Maharaj goes a level after. No? It's, okay, I surrender, I have nothing else to take shelter of, but so now I engage everything in Krishna's service, myself, so it's next level of the Atma-nivedana. So, but not just that, because the challenge that Ambarish Maharaj experienced in his pure devotional service, I would like to emphasize this part, pure devotional service. He experienced some challenge, like for example, the encounter that we studied recently with Durvasa Muni. It was a quite interesting experience. We can see that Durvasa Muni is not ordinary person. It's a sadhu, full of knowledge, qualities, a brahmana. So we have heard many times in Bhagavatam how dear the brahmanas are to Krishna. No? They are very much qualified. Krishna is very, the brahmanas are very dear to Krishna. So we have here a pure devotee, Ambarish Maharaj, a brahmana, also a brahmana who supposedly, according to the Shastras, is very dear to Krishna. And now we have a conflict. What is happening right now? No? The brahmana, like a Durvasa Muni. What was the problem with Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj? Sivya, do you remember what was the problem? What happened there? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, the conflict was more Vaishnava etiquette, supposedly, you know, that we have to serve seniors. That remind me that a few days ago, we were serving Harisauri Prabhu, his breakfast, sorry. And sometimes some senior devotees also joined him. But somehow or another, Harisauri Prabhu was a bit delayed in coming, and the other devotees were waiting, and one devotee had to take prasad because he has some medicines, and because of his medical prescription, he cannot take the medicine in empty stomach, and he has to take prasad, eat at least something with his medicine and the timing, and Harisauri Prabhu was taking a bit of time. We weren't how can I sure what to do? We can serve him because we have to wait the senior devotee, and then like a Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. So, but and also Anira Prabhu need to go. No, he has my timing, but what to do? We have to wait. They were trying to wait, but so no, we have to give them. So one devotee asked Harisauri Prabhu, they are waiting. Yeah, but I need more time. Please tell them to eat. Okay, let's serve them. So in that way, for example, we were trying to remember Ambarish Maharaj, how important also the observance of Vaishnava etiquette. I remember at that time, Aniruddha Prabhu said, oh, we have to wait for senior devotee. And he was about to eat, but no, we have to wait. He was waiting. So why I'm mentioning this pastime is because it's something that we can encounter every day in our interaction with devotees. The importance of observing Vaishnava etiquette and what actually we need to be focused on, respect to others, and at the same time the necessity to complete or do or perform our devotional service in quality. Well, the point that I wanted to mention is how generally through the Bhagavatam we were studying the pure devotee or devotee who is engaged in pure devotional service always will be facing challenges coming through, for example, devotees, but who are not necessarily in a pure devotional platform. That means mixed devotees. For example, I was remembering pastimes like, for example, we said, no, pure Ambarish Maharaj is pure devotee, But due to the descriptions of the qualities of Durvasa Muni, we can say that he's also a devotee, but doesn't seem to be a pure devotee. Perhaps we can say he is much into mixed devotee, with jnana, karma, that, for example, mentality, amma brahmana, sense of entitlement. So it's more confused with when we said anyavilasita sunya, the qualities of pure devotional service when it's free from jnana, from karma. So in this case, to my understanding, I would say, for example, Durvasa Muni seems to be a little bit more limited with jnana aspect, that his pure devotional service is not taking place yet due to those effects of jnana that doesn't assist the pure state of devotional service. It can be a barrier for him. Like similarly, when, for example, we study in the fourth canto the pastime of Lord Shiva and Daksha, why, for example, Lord Shiva was criticized by Daksha, and how Daksha, he was considering himself to be properly situated. He was doing all the yagyas, all the karma kandas, the rules that the Vedas were prescribed. So the Vedas prescribing all those rules, all those sacrifices, and he was very expert. And from one sense we say he's following the Shastras, he's following the Vedas, but by following the Shastras, the Vedas, doesn't guarantee that he was in a platform of pure devotional service. And the conditioning and the contamination of that is that he wasn't able to appreciate the position of a pure devotee like Lord Shiva. And not just that, he didn't only appreciate the position of Lord Shiva, but he considered himself superior to him with entitlement to even curse him, insult him. So, like that, for example, not just as a karma kanda, for example, Daksha, but also we see Daksha with Narada Muni. That is in the 6th canto that we were studying as well, the preaching activities of Narada Muni, trying to give knowledge of facilitating the experience of pure devotional service to the Prachetas. No, Savalashras and Harivashas. But basically the idea of Narada Muni wasn't that I'll make them renounce, it's just giving them the opportunity to experience a higher level of devotional service, because they were qualified for that. So in his desire to help them, at that time, being renounced, it was favorable for them, so okay, let's do it. But Daksha didn't appreciate that. Because he was very much, again, engaged in karma kanda, doing his service that God, Krishna, gave it to him. Daksha was very much focusing on doing my service, and a prayapati. And this one is coming and it's blocking my service. It's disturbing my service. Many times happened for us, especially when we have different services. Somebody's doing that and that, and I'm disturbing my service. And then we fight. So, but why the fight or the offenses are taking place? Not long ago, I think last week, we have the nice class of Jagannath Ram Prabhu. He gave, to my understanding, a master class about the root cause of offenses. Do you remember what was his point when he said, what is the root cause of offenses? Do you remember? why we commit offenses. Jagannath Ram Prabhu gave that class. No? No, not remember. It's very, well, sounds simple, but it's the reality. He said that the root cause of our offenses, or our offensive attitude in ourselves, is because we don't remember Krishna. We forget Krishna. And that is quite, apparently it's simple, but it's actually real. And it's also, for all of us, a way how we can measure how much purified, how much Krishna conscious we are. Why we feel offended, why we offended others, it's because, again, we are not remembering Krishna. We are not Krishna conscious. So I wanted to mention that because, again, with the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, two devotees, very good devotees, we cannot say that Durvasa Muni is an ordinary devotee. He went to see Krishna. He got darshan of Krishna. He got darshan of a pure devotee like Lord Shiva, like Lord Rama. He has access to the spiritual world. He went to Vaikuntha. So it means he is not an ordinary devotee. But again, he was against a pure devotee, or against a devotee who was in the platform of pure bhakti. So he didn't have the capacity or the ability to discriminate what is the right thing to do. And he was confused. Perhaps in many occasions he does many things right, but at that time he didn't show his ability to remember Krishna, and then naturally all the problems that take place, offenses, and then not just that, immediately he received reaction for that. But the most important thing is that, for example, that also was mentioned by our Jagannath Ram Prabhu, the attitude of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj didn't even forgive Durvasa. Why? Because actually he didn't feel offended. He didn't see any offense in the attitude of Ambarish Maharaj, of Durvasa. Durvasa Muni, he was so much in anger that even he created a demon to kill a devotee, to kill Ambarish Maharaj. So that sense of entitlement that sometimes, for example, we think that we have the capacity to correct somebody, and even we can destroy the opportunities of devotional service, so become an obstacle in their devotional service, because we consider that we have that capacity, we are right. So that was the attitude of Durvasa. But Ambarish Maharaj didn't react, didn't feel offended, but he, of course, acknowledged the danger, acknowledged this is a demon here. So, but his attitude wasn't like, okay, let's run and try to escape or try to protect ourselves. According to Shastra, it said that Ambarish Maharaj, he accepted, okay, this is the challenge. If I have to die, well, okay, this is the time. Let me remember Krishna. Make sure to remember Krishna, okay, taken. But Krishna has immediately shown at that time his protection by sending Sudarshan Chakra. Not because Ambarish Maharaj pray, please protect me, Krishna. Oh, Krishna, please, without your help I cannot do it. No, Ambarish Maharaj accepted. So it's another level that perhaps is beyond our capacity at this time, at least in my case. if I have some challenges, some difficulties, immediately Krishna, 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 like our Kunti Devi, please come, all the difficulties come because it's the moment when I'm more Krishna conscious. So perhaps somehow or another, all of us will share that. When we have some challenges, problems, we always, we try to call Krishna, call out for Krishna's help. But at this point, Ambarish Maharaj didn't do that. Shruvi, can you sit at this side, Shruvi? You are distracting me, sorry. Okay, so at this point, it's basically important, I consider that, because by hearing about Ambarish Maharaj's quality, service, his personality, also his consciousness, at this point, we are not at that platform, but by hearing about him, by Krishna's mercy, we will achieve that position. We will be able to also experience that. Also, I wanted to mention something, the importance that all of us as practicing devotees in Krishna consciousness, trying to also share about Krishna consciousness with others, as we call preaching. Sometimes we can be confused or perhaps considering ourselves superior than others, and that can be also an obstacle in our devotional service. But the idea basically is that when we are more Krishna conscious, we will be able to also convey that to others. And preaching actually means that, giving Krishna to others. So we cannot give Krishna to others if we don't have Krishna. We cannot give Krishna consciousness to others if we are not Krishna conscious devotees. So, but also we can share with others what we have gradually. And but because we don't have the quality, but if we have the proper attitude, Krishna can make wonders through us, not because we are the qualified devotees, or because we are the qualified instruments, perhaps. Because we acknowledge our conditioning, we know that we are not the doers, but it's Krishna actually, the one who is acting. And I grew up as Christian, as Catholic. So for me, for example, the election of the new Papa, the new Pope, is very important. Oh, I was also trying to see who is the new Pope. For example, it's quite interesting to see how Krishna is active, not just with the Hare Krishnas. It's with everybody, especially with those who are trying to practice spirituality, Krishna consciousness in different way. As Bhaktivedanta says, when he used to observe Christians, and he said, "Oh, my Lord has been worshipped in a different way." So, for example, it said that the new Pope, Leo XIV, he wasn't expected to be the Pope, by the way. Those commentaries who were trying to predict who will be the next Pope, different candidates, like a very much renowned in philosophy or very much into active in the politics of the Christian Catholic Church. They thought, oh, this can be the Pope, but actually it turned out to be somebody who is, well, he wasn't too much famous, but his quality, according how they describe, is it's very much simple. And I heard one of his interviews before he was Pope, he was elected Pope. And he thought it's, for example, like what we are doing in Krishna consciousness. He says, for example, evangelize, like preaching, kind of. He said, actually, it's not just giving knowledge or trying to give our doctrine to people. It's actually giving the opportunity to people to experience their relationship with God. So in other terms, it's facilitating devotional service. Because now we are glorifying Ambarish Maharaj about his capacity to be engaged in devotional service. All his means, limbs, everything was engaged in devotional service and qualify him to experience the nectar of being engaged in pure devotional service. So when this Pope explained about what actually preaching is giving the opportunity to people to be engaged in devotional service, because only in that way you can experience or you can develop your relationship with God. So by being engaged in a practical way in devotional service, the guarantee that you can experience or develop a direct connection with God is there. So in Krishna consciousness, we hear constantly about this. And it's something that perhaps comes from here, goes to here, and we do devotional service many times mechanically. But it's very rare. I was reading recently also another small comment that Prabhupada, when we read every day Prabhupada's messages, and it said, Prabhupada said, there are many possibilities, many possibilities that we can take different bodies. But having a human body is very rare. But more rare is that you have the opportunity to be engaged in devotional service. So let's perhaps meditate a bit on this and appreciate what opportunity we have and to take more advantage of those opportunities of devotional service and be grateful with Krishna and his devotees, and also facilitate others the opportunity to be engaged in devotional service. So with this, I end here. So any comment, any questions? No? Thank you so much. Granted as Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaura Premanandi, Hare Hare Bo.